What's up guys? Welcome back to the channel. We're back today with another video. Today we're going to be talking about the cars that I've owned up to current date, and then at the end we're going to rank them from 1 to 5. So let's get into it. Alright, before I begin, I'd like to first apologize for the sound quality of my voice. I got a little cold going on, got the sniffles, very congested in the face area, so my voice is not as clear as it normally is, so just wanted to get that out of the way. Last week, I made a poll on my channel, and I asked you guys to vote between the 5 cars that I've owned. Which one was your favorite? Most of you voted for the IS or the 3000. There was a couple other votes for the other cars, but the majority was for the newer cars that I've owned. So thank you guys for those who participated, interacted with it. I really appreciate it. I tell you, every episode I have to mess up at least one word. So thanks again for those who interacted. I'd really like to keep doing that in the future, making polls, asking questions and stuff like that to keep the channel alive in between posting videos. Hopefully I can keep doing that. Today, I'm gonna talk about the cars myself with my experience, and then I myself am going to vote them like you guys and rank them from 1 to 5. So let's get right into it. My first car was a 1999 Mercedes-Benz S320. It looked like this. It was granny gold, and that car was a lot of fun. I owned it for a long time. I had it through high school and a little bit of college, and then, you know, eventually it died, so I had to get something else. But that was a really cool car. I didn't do anything to it. It was before I was really into the modified car scene. So that would have been the best, perfect example other than an LS400 of a car that I could slam on its nuts and VIP. But that was before I knew what VIP cars were and could modify or anything like that, so I didn't do anything to it. But it did have a really, really nice sound system. It had a Bose all-around sound system, and to this day, that is my favorite sound system out of any car that I've ever owned. I say I didn't do anything to that car, and then I remember after looking at this picture, that was taken at Cars and Coffee. That was actually the first Cars and Coffee I ever went to. The night before, I spray painted the front grille black. We taped it off, and then we completely spray painted it black so the chrome around it would like pop a little bit. So I just remembered that little fact. So now this is where the second car that I've owned comes into play. It was actually my mother's car, but after the Mercedes basically was undrivable and just died, I had nothing to drive, so my mom gave me the Azera. So there's the second car. It was a 2008 Hyundai Azera. It had a 3.8 liter V6 engine. Basically, the Azera is the introduction to the Genesis sedan. It is basically the same engine as the 3.8 liter V6, so it's beefed down from the Gen Coupe 3.8. Definitely not as fast, but it was cool. You know, it had 4 doors. It was black. It was just a nice little car, you know. So I plasti dipped the wheels. I gave it a sticker bomb all over the dash and stuff, LEDs under the seats. I fully riced it, and then I crashed it. So then brings us to the third car that I've owned, and that was the 1996 BMW E36 318 Ti, and it was the hatchback model. And that was the first modified car that I had ever owned. Everything was already done to it by the previous owner, but I didn't care at the time. I just wanted something manual because I wanted to learn how to drive stick. So I wanted something manual, and it had to be cool, I guess. Those were my 2 requirements. I didn't care about gas mileage. I didn't care about speed or nothing. I just wanted a manual car. And then I found it on Facebook, and I went and bought it. And immediately it hit the fan. It died 3 days later. Had to replace the alternator, and that was a lot of fun. So yeah, after like a week, we replaced the alternator and the O2 sensor and the camshaft position sensor, and there was another sensor that I can't remember the name of. But we had a lot to do, and I had only owned the car for 3 days.
3 days later.
3 days. So that was a hassle. But it was a cool car. It had a bunch of stuff done to it. It was lowered on some True Heart coilovers, had a gigantic cold air intake. It was manual. It had a really bad radio, so it didn't even work. I had a Bluetooth speaker in my seat the entire time, so that one gets 0 points for sound system.
You suck!
But yeah, it was a cool car. But like every BMW from the 90s, the door cards fell off. Pretty much everything on that car fell off at some point or another. So that was a lot of fun. And now we've arrived at the car you all know and love, the 1998 Mitsubishi 3000 GT. Or in Japan, the GTO. You guys already know this car. I got it after the BMW because the BMW didn't last very long. I sold it probably after 6 to 8 months of ownership because everything just kept falling off of it. So I decided to go Japanese. So I picked up the 3000 and I owned that car for probably a year, almost 2 years at this point. And yeah, that was an awesome car. It has a lot of memories with it. I started the YouTube channel with the 3000. I took it to Riverside, Chattanooga. I took it to Slam Dunk, Gatlinburg. I took it to a bunch of car shows and little car meets. It was just a great car. But yeah, we all know how that turned out, don't we? That was a fun car. I had a lot of memories with it. I took it to Riverside, Chattanooga. I got it showcased at the Evo Dragon Day. That was really cool. I never thought it would get any recognition or anything like that. I wanted to modify it, I wanted to own it forever, but it kept shitting itself and there was no diaper in the world that could stop that. And just like Uncle Ben says, with great power, Mitsubishis suck. All jokes aside, I still love the 3000 and I will always miss that car. It's kind of funny, ever since I sold it, I keep seeing more and more of them on the road. People, where are you getting these 3000 GTs that run? I would love to know so I can buy one in the future. Maybe even a VR4 that's not $40,000. But that's enough about the 3000. It's time to move on to now the star of the show, the 2001 Spectra Blue Lexus IS300. At this point, you should all know by now that the 3000 is gone. I sold it, and now I drive the IS300. It is a 2001 Spectra Blue Lexus IS300. It's basically bone stock. I think the exhaust is modified. It's blue, it's automatic, radio sucks, 2JZ engine. What more could you want? And it's going to be the new build series. It's going to be, everything is going to be focused around the IS300, and I'm super excited for it. Now you're all caught up. Those are the 5 cars that I've owned, and now we're going to rank them. 1 being my favorite, 5 being my least favorite, and then we're going to call it a day. Coming in 5th place, the Hyundai Azera. You know, it did its job. It got me from A to B. It was just a car. I raced the crap out of it, and it just looked like basic traffic. So it wasn't really anything to look at or really dump money into make it look good. So that's why it's in 5th. 4th place, BMW. I did like that car. It was really cool. Stick shift car. It was modified. It just kept breaking, and I got tired of it breaking all the time, so I didn't want to have it anymore. So I sold it for another broken car. So that's why it's in 4th place. In 3rd place, the Mercedes. I really did like the Mercedes. I had it forever. I have a lot of memories with that car. I could have VIP'd it if I knew what that was, but I didn't. But all of the OG friends that I have remember me driving the Mercedes and owning the Mercedes, and we just had a blast in it. It was a giant car. It was built like a yacht. You could fit a bunch of people in it, you could listen to music in it, you could drive anywhere in it. It was just a really good first car. It was a tank. It was the homie hauler, as we called it. I called it the land yacht, other people call it the homie hauler. But yeah, it was a really good first car. So that's why it's number 3. I'm sure you guys are ready to find out what number 2 and number 1 are. And I'm sure this is gonna surprise you, but number 2 is the IS300. Wow! I do love the IS300. It's always been one of my dream cars. I've always wanted to own one, and now that I have one, I can't wait to see what I do with it. It's just too new. It doesn't have memories that the 3000 GT does, going to all the shows. You know, this was the first car me and Brooke went driving around in. So there's those memories involved with it. We've traveled all over the place in it, went to car shows together, so it's just the IS300 yet does not have the memories that the 3000 GT does have. So that is why the first place goes to the 3000 GT. And like I just said, the 3000 just has, despite all of the problems that it had, and half of the time it wasn't running, it did have a lot of memories that the IS300 doesn't have yet. So that's why the 3000 is in first place. So there you have it. Those are all 5 cars I've owned, and that's me ranking them from favorite to least favorite. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed it. I had a blast making it. Before I forget, don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share the video on all the platforms, hit the notification bell so you can see when I post. I have a lot of big plans for the channel very soon, lots of content ideas, and I have parts coming in very soon for the IS so we can finally start the build series, and I'm super excited for that. I hope you are. Before I end this video, comment down below what your favorite dream car is. I want to know if it's Euro, JDM, American Muscle, Hypercar, Pagani, whatever. I want to know what your favorite dream car is. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.